Nick Sabaka Jr., the greatest cornerback in football history, is about to begin his 8th year in the NFL. He seems to be at the tail end of his prime, having caught well over 30 interceptions in his last 3 seasons, but time is running out for him to accomplish all of his goals. First of all, Nick somehow still hasn't won an MVP award. He's been so close so many times and came in second in the voting last year. Second of all, Nick has been falling just short of his ultimate statistical goal, the 40 interception season, which is really hard to do on 5-minute quarters. This season, he's going to have to play pretty much perfect, and he's going to be locked in to do everything he can to meet these goals and get another Super Bowl ring before the sun sets on his legendary career. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I want to make this the greatest season of Nick Sabaka's career, which is going to be tough considering all he's accomplished already. And unfortunately, the Rams have already got it on the goal line, but the running back trying to dive into the end zone and Nick knocks him down, showing off the strength a little bit there, and it looks like they're going to pass it on second and goal, and Nick is all over that, getting the pick, and this could be the longest pick six of his career. Just got to get up out of there, and nobody can catch Nick Sabaka Jr. from behind. This is going to be a 100+ yard crib call to totally flip the momentum of this game. That's how we crack open the season right there. Those are the plays that Nick needs to lock down the MVP award, and coming his way again, give me that. Our first pick on the corner out of the year, first of many sitting in the cover 3, and with 2 picks in the first quarter, we're right where we want to be. Let's keep the foot on the gas, can't slow down, and covering the corner route again. I thought bro was going to throw that. One thing we're definitely going to do more this year is sit in the cover 3, and did he just throw that? I couldn't even tell because it was so far up in the air, but Nick is going to get under it and get the pick for his third of the day. Come on, man, can we turn this into a pick 6? But still a huge play from our guy. He's got a kind of weird coverage assignment here up against the slot on the other side, but following him on the slant for some reason, dude is gonna throw that, and can we turn this into something? I'm gonna hit a little spin move, and somehow Nick got out of there. It's not gonna quite be a pick 6, but that would have been crazy. And by the way, I am of course playing on all Madden difficulty. Nick has made that look easy his whole career, but this game was special. We're normally not so sharp coming out in the season opener. I think this could really be the season we've been hoping for. Next up, we got San Francisco, and Nick has gotten very familiar with Brock Purdy over the course of his career. The main thing that Nick's been able to pick off from him has been flats, so we're going to be looking to bait those up today. This drive from the Niners has just been a complete death march, and surprisingly, they're going to pass it on 3rd and goal. Nick ended up abandoning his zone, and I guess that'll turn into a touchdown. But offense has thankfully got our back. They've definitely been off to a good start this season, and Nick's actually off to a good start tackling today. I'm gonna need to see some picks soon, but for now, big hits like that'll do. An underrated part of Nick's game. And we got a 3rd and 7. Looks like it's gonna be some weird play action from the 49ers, and Nick covering his guy deep is actually gonna get tried in perfect position for the pick, but our stupid safety swats it away. Doesn't he know we're going for 40 picks on the year? 4 picks in our last game should give us some grace, but we need to figure something out to catch them in the 4th quarter. Nick's gonna have to start getting really aggressive, and the 49ers are still 100% in this game. Purdy's gonna pull him within 3 here, and offense is not gonna kill the clock, leaves him with 2 minutes left. We're gonna have a 3rd and 9 here. I'm sensing some curls coming, and oh, Purdy, you gotta throw that to us, buddy. Nick had it played perfectly. Niners have already run down the clock a fair amount, and I'm looking for that deep corner route in the cover 3. We were on it, but Purdy doesn't have time to throw it. All right, 3rd and inches, 40 seconds left, and he's just gonna dump it off over the middle. They're wasting a ton of time right now. Just gotta keep everything in front at this point, and we will do just that. For some reason, they're still making throws over the middle. That might kill the whole clock. Okay, Niners are gonna have 10 seconds left. Let's see what they do. Nick is in man coverage, and they get it to the sideline. Okay, it looks like we will just have a Hail Mary situation here, and let's see what we get. Purdy's gonna roll out. Is he even gonna get this off? No. Okay, that's kind of a lame ending. So we get the close dub, but definitely an off game for Nick. No picks. Not that he even really got the chance in this one. The team's off to a really solid start. Nick just needs to have another big day today. Nothing's come our way so far in the first half, but Nick's man is running to the flats here, and we are just gonna get there. Nick won't quite be able to stay in bounds, but I'll take it. These NFL quarterbacks love throwing to their flats. Need to keep it moving in the second half though. We got a nice 2-score lead, and Nick is gonna come up with a nice breakup on 3rd down. So all of a sudden, we've got a huge 4th and 3. Was watching out for an out route there. Instead, they got a quick corner, and Bryce Young just misses his target. So we're still hanging on to a 2-score lead headed into the 4th quarter, but on a motion play here, Carolina is finally going to get a touchdown. Let's see if offense can put this away. And thankfully they can. Now we can just bait some stuff up with 2 minutes left. We've got a minute left to make something happen, and trying to bait up the flats again, we can't get anything. So it'll be a kind of disappointing 1-pick game for Nick, especially after that first game. 5 picks through 3 games is not ideal. And in week 4, we got the undefeated Eagles. This has been a tough matchup throughout this series, but Nick is going to start it out with a pick. The Eagles have definitely become more one-dimensional on offense since we first started playing them, and Nick's gotten the better of Hurts in the last few matchups. This defense has been stifling in this game to the point where the game's been pretty boring going into the 4th quarter, and the Eagles are getting desperate. They're going for a 4th and 7 from inside their own 25, and matched up in man coverage here, they're just going to dump it underneath, and that could do it for this game. So the Eagles are going to have to go out all out passing down 17-0, and Nick is going to get an illegal contact here, which sucks because Jalen Hurts literally threw the ball right to him. I hate these illegal contact penalties. And sadly, that was the last chance we'd get, so another 1-pick game. Nick still seems pretty happy to get the win, but right now, our 40-pick goal is not looking good. I am once again hoping for a big game today against the Atlanta Falcons, taking on Michael Penix, and he's going to throw it to the flats. Give me that. Nick baited it up perfectly, and no way we're going to get caught from behind here, right? I said that never happens to Nick, and he will narrowly avoid it this time. Penix took a pretty good angle, but we'll bring that back to the middle for a pick 6. That play will totally flip this game on its head. Nick's been playing great coverage, but one thing we're struggling with is Penix is just scrambling so much. We gotta find a way to keep him in the pocket, and Nick sitting in the cover 3 here. Didn't really see that deep route developing, but doesn't matter. We'll take a 2nd pick of the day, and once again our boy comes through in the red zone. This is looking like the big game I was hoping for, but unfortunately this game is not even close to over. Offense turned it over, and this time Penix is gonna find his way into the end zone with his legs. The pass rush has not been ideal in this one, but offense coming through with a big answer, finally getting a touchdown. And just like that, we're looking pretty good. We're just 1 quarter away from 5-0, and Nick baiting up the flats again and barely is able to jump that. This is gonna be another crib call, and this time Nick is taunting hard, falling backwards into the end zone, and we're finally seeing another MVP level performance. And that's gonna do it for this one. Another turned out to be dominant win, as Nick had a clean 0 tackles today, but outscored our offense with 2 pick 6s. So that game puts the stat line in a much better place through 5 games. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence has for Nick today, and turns out he's gonna drop an interception right in the bucket. Give me that. I'm kind of surprised that Trevor Lawrence is still on the Jaguars after all these years. At this point, we're like 8 years deep into the superstar mode, and offense goes ahead and cashes that in front of the home crowd. Let's keep the momentum going here. Nick is manned up on the other side for some reason, and I'm looking for that out route. We love to bait up so much. That's like the first time I've seen it all season, and it was a little bit weird playing that flipped around, but Nick is gonna get it. Doesn't look like we're gonna be able to bank it, but we are back on track with the interceptions. Let's go. I do want to fix the fact that we have had like no tackles through the last 2 games, and Nick will get an assist here. The Jags are finally driving the ball a little bit and manned up again here. We see that corner route again. Thank you, Trevor Lawrence. I've been waiting for someone to throw that to Nick all season, and with that we are actually officially back on track. That's 12 picks on the season, and we're off to a 21-0 lead in this one. See, normally when we start having a game like this, it eventually peters out and we don't get any picks in the second half. I'm hoping to avoid that here. We haven't had one of those like crazy 6 or 7 pick games in a while. That touchdown did potentially put Jacksonville back in the game, and once again Nick's on the other side of the field just baiting out the flat route, and Lawrence just throws it right to him. What are you doing, buddy? We'll take that back to the bank, and man, Nick has had a lot more pick 6s this season than last year. That's been good to see for sure. 4 interceptions and 0 tackles is actually crazy work, and we're gonna make it even more crazy. How about a 5th on the day? Nick has indeed not slowed down. I wish we could have cribbed that, but these are the exact type of games we need this season. This is what's going to win Nick the MVP here, and we are absolutely obliterating the Jaguars 35-7, and it's pretty much just been Nick's doing. Let's go get number 6, man. Come on, they're down in the red zone. This is the perfect chance to bait up the deep ball, and we will get it. I don't know why bro keeps throwing Nick's way, but just like that, we got 15 interceptions interceptions on the season, we might be on pace for 40, and we get a huge blowout win. Possibly the best game of Nick's career right there. Okay, so I did skip over the following game just because we got the dub. It was pretty boring. Nick didn't get any interceptions. I'm gonna be honest, I am kind of tired of playing against this team at this point, and to top it off, we got a rain game, but Joshua Walden's gonna get a pick, and this one is gonna go back to the bank, so Nick's teammates coming through again. So we're off to a clean 10-0 lead. Hopefully this means that the Niners will have to pass it a little bit more. Hopefully we can make something happen soon. I'm gonna be aggressive and baiting up the streak route here. It's gonna pay off. Nick is just so good at coming back on those and getting those over the shoulder catches, and we got a good animation. We might have a shot to crib this. Just gotta outrun some big guys, and it will be a crib call. Nick has been taking a lot of picks back this year, which should really help with that MVP watch. And now this game is verging on a blowout, which is just what I like to see. Maybe we can put up a crazy stat line like last time. I do want to get our tackle numbers up a little bit for sure. We are going to get a perfect formation here. I love guarding this formation because like 70% of the time they're going to run this stupid out route, and a whole lot of the time when you play that well, the quarterback will throw that. This is going to go back to the bank as well, and all of a sudden this has turned into a great game for Nick. Once again, let's keep it going. Let's not fall off in the second half here. And Brock Purdy is having a nightmare day right now. 3 pick sixes already, and looks like he's going to throw another one to Devin Witherspoon here. And look at Nick laying down the pancake block just because he can. This has indeed turned into a blowout. We got a minute and a half here to cook up some more picks, and sitting in the cover 3, we're going to see that fade developing late, and give me that. I don't know why these quarterbacks always throw it so early. If he waited just another second, that could have been a touchdown. And that's going to do it for this one. Blowout win and a nice little 3-pick game for Nick. We got 18 through 8 games. And once again, the stat line right now is actually crazy. I honestly think the main reason we don't have a lot of tackles is because Nick just hasn't been getting beat so far this season. So now we got the Rams, who Nick went absolutely crazy on in week 1, if I remember correctly. And they're 1-7, but gonna start it out with an easy touchdown drive here. Our pass rush was nowhere to be found on that drive. Unfortunately, offense instantly turns it over, and this is suddenly looking dangerous. This could potentially be our first loss. Nick is gonna have to make his presence felt soon, and he gets a chance here but misses it. Man, I needed to be further towards the sideline, and that's a killer miss. Potential 14-point swing. Okay, offense does come through with a touchdown of their own though, so we're right back on this game. All it takes is one play to turn it around, and sitting in the cover 3, I saw that out route coming open, and dude threw it late. Nick is gonna pounce on it, and that is a killer mistake from the Rams. We'll take that back to the bank. Nick's not gonna get tricked twice on that, and we should have a chance to make another play here at the end of the second half. And Nick, matched up against a corner route, is going to get beat. That corner route ran further upfield than I thought, and this is going to turn into a touchdown, guys. Nick's first really blown coverage of the year. I thought we had it, and so we're headed into the fourth quarter trailing by 7, and we got a 3rd and 18 here. The Rams are just going to run it up the middle, so we need offense to do something here. And man, they drove it all the way down the field but couldn't punch it in. We're going to have one last chance with a minute left. We were able to get the Rams to 3rd and 14, and was hoping they maybe slip up and pass it, but they decide to run, so offense is going to have 50 seconds. Let's see if the boys can make a miracle. They unfortunately cannot. We take a tough loss, and a very up and down game for Nick. I wouldn't say he was responsible for the loss. He had a pick 6, but getting beaten coverage like that was tough. So we need a bounce back game here against the Steelers, and running it to the outside. Nickel started out with a tackle. Okay, the rare solo tackle there. The Steelers are a familiar foe for Nick, and going with the slants here, they throw it right to Devin Witherspoon, and this is going to go back to the crib. Witherspoon having a nice season. Couple of pick 6s here early on. So we got a big lead early on. Chance maybe for another blowout, and Nick having a good tackling game to get in a nice tackle for loss. And manned up in a tight formation here. I'm watching for that corner route. That's what we're going to get, but I played it wrong again. Dang it, man. Nick's going to give up a touchdown in a second straight game. That's painful. We're still clinging to a nice lead though, and we're going to get another shot at that play here, and this time Nick picks it off. I was a little bit worried we wouldn't be able to catch up to that, but that should give us the momentum we need to carry us to a dub. And offense for their part has been really good lately. Need to make some more plays before we get out of here, and sitting in the cover 3, we're going to bait up this streak route to perfection. Those zone picks where you just drop back are so satisfying, and hopefully offense doesn't kill the whole clock here. But they always do it when I don't want them to. They never do it when I do want them to, by the way. I don't even know if that's accurate. But anyways, Nick had an okay tackling day. Ended up with a tackle for loss, 2 interceptions. So 10 games into the season, Nick sits at 21 interceptions. We're definitely behind that 40 interception clip, but we can catch up pretty easily. And look at this, boys. Maybe the first time I've ever seen this, Nick is #1 on the MVP watch. We really have a shot to win it this year. All right, let's get it. We got the Saints up next on the road. For some reason, I'm sensing a big game coming here, and we're going to do our little cover 3 trick again, getting the streak route, and that's how we crack open this game. Let's go. Seems like the Saints offense is pretty pass heavy, so we should have a shot to do something crazy. So 7-0 headed into the second quarter. Saints are running right at Nick here. He gets off the block and lays down the hit. There we go. And oh my god, dude, I was expecting a corner route, and the tight end just runs right by Nick. No safety help over top, and we're gonna get beat for a touchdown again. You know what though? It is what it is. I'm playing aggressive. I'm trying to get to 40 picks. Gotta break some eggs to make an omelet, fellas. But after that play, this is starting to look like another dangerous game, and manned up here again. Nick baits up the curl and can't quite make the play, man. That was a tough contested catch, but that would have been nice to have. And sitting in the cover 3 again, baiting up the deep corner, and I baited it up too much. I don't know why I did that. I need to just run with that. And this is not good. Nick could like single-handedly lose his team the game here. We need offense to do something, and they don't. The pressure now falls on Nick to get his team back in the game, and we're going to be really aggressive here, baiting up that deep route, but Nick's going to get to it. And come on, man, let's turn this into a return. It's going to be really tough to take this back. We're going to have to get around some guys, and we're not going to be able to quite go all the way, but hopefully that puts offense in good position. And let's go. They cash it in for a touchdown. So we're going to need to stop here. Saints are running the ball on second down, and a beautiful tackle to stop dude short. And on 3rd and 1, we are getting our money formation. Let's see. Oh no, they just ran it over the middle. I was fully sitting on that corner route. So now we're in a tough position. Looks like the Saints might actually pass it here though, and quarterback is going to take a sack. That's big. I took a timeout because I feel like they start running it under the 2-minute warning, and we did get our corner route on that play, but they just dump it off. All right, we got a chance here. Come on, guys. 3rd down. They are once again just going to dump it off. Need to make the tackle short of the sticks, and we do. That'll take us down to the 2-minute warning, and offense should just need to get a field goal. We're going to be at the mercy of the sim. All right, let's see what happens. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. They do get the field goal, and we should be headed to overtime. We'll see if the Saints decide to pass it here, and they do, just dumping it off right to Nick, and he'll break that up. The Saints are in Hail Mary formation with 6 seconds left. Quarterback's going to roll out and just chuck it up, and let's see if we can make a play here. Nick's going to try to get in there, but the ball just gets swatted away, and we're headed to overtime, folks. We're going to have a sudden death situation here, and the Saints once again run our money formation, but they don't throw Nick's way. That's pretty frustrating. Would have loved a game-winning pick 6 there. As the Saints go play action pass, we were sitting in the cover 2, and oh no, that's going to get them into field goal range. I think we're going to need to come up with a turnover now, and the Saints are actually going to throw it. Some nice man coverage from Nick, but they just dump it off again. And this is probably it. 3rd and 1. Let's see what they do. Looks like a toss play. Nick is going to fight through a block and sit dude down, so 4th and inches. But honestly, was it better if they got the 1st down there? Oh my god, they're going to go for it though. I have absolutely no idea why they're doing this, but they're going to run up the middle, and Nick can't quite stop him short. All right, 1st and goal. Saints are going to pass the ball, it looks like, and go to the corner route. Nick is on it for the pick, and oh, do I take that out? I think we're going to stay in the end zone, but a clutch play for Nick's 3rd of the day. I didn't think we were going to get there. I can't believe the Saints passed it in that situation. And offense wins it. Nick almost completely messed that game up, but clutched up when it counted. And it turned out to be a really nice statistical game for the boy. And by the way, Nick has officially completely maxed out his upgrade tree. 10 and 1 is feeling pretty good. Right now, we're the #1 seed in the playoff, going into a game against the Bengals, who Nick is very familiar with. A veteran Joe Burrow is driving him right down the field so far. We'll see if we can get some picks on him today. Looking out for the flat route here. Looks like they're actually going to go play action pass, and Burrow's rolling out of the pocket. Nick is going to have a chance at a sack and does help out with it. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. This is one long drive. So we'll see what we got here on 3rd down. They're going with a little split look, and Burrow will actually just dump it off. So after all that, the Bengals are going to take a field goal. And offense goes right down to get a touchdown. They've continued to be so good after really being quite frustrating last year. Since he is threatening to score again and trying to go up top here, Nick was really aggressive on his deep bait, which I really love to do in the red zone because it feels like there's less of a risk, and quarterbacks tend to underthrow the ball a lot. We're going to get a nice return here too. Thought we might have a shot to take it to the crib, but we take what we can get. This remains a very close game going into the second half though. Need to find a way to pull this out, and the Bengals are already threatening again. We are going to get a big 3rd and goal here, and all day for Burrow, he's just going to find Chase in the end zone. And this time offense gets nothing. It's been a dry game for them, but with 3 minutes left, Nick is guarding the fade route, and they're going to come right to him, but he can't quite make the catch. Dang, dude. Thought we had that played pretty much perfect, and the Bengals are going to pick up the 3rd down on the drag route. That's pretty killer, but this is a similar situation to last week, and we ended up pulling it out then. We'll see what happens here. The Bengals running attack has been annoying, and they're going to make it 2nd and inches. That does at least stop the clock, but the Bengals are going to pick up a 1st down here, but Nick jars the ball loose. Oh my gosh, man. Bengals are going to pick it up, but that had potential to be a huge play. Not over yet, though. Going with the same tactic as last time, the Bengals are still passing the ball, and Burrow just throws it out of bounds. And they're really going empty here with 2 minutes left. Let's see what we get. I gotta bait it up, and oh, I was not expecting the stupid curl for whatever reason. That's gonna be pretty brutal, and that could potentially end the game. With 2 timeouts left, the Bengals are probably just gonna try to run the clock out. Should have been more careful, but I was going for a big play, and the Bengals are gonna get it to the outside. That is sadly gonna do it for this one. It ended up being a pretty good game from Nick, but a frustrating ending. And after just a couple little slip-ups, Nick has dropped to number 3 on the MVP watch. We're going to need 15 picks in these last 5 games. It's possible, but it's going to be a tall task. And we got the 2-10 Browns. Offense has got us up to a 3-0 lead in the second quarter, and down in the red zone, we're going to bait it up. We've been getting more and more picks on these streaks lately, and Nick is just going to continue to add to those returning yards, getting us out to the 28. But Cleveland's got a kind of weird offense. They've been running the ball a lot. Nick's been doing his best to try to help out. And like, by the way, why am I not getting a solo tackle stat for that? I'm missing the old games when the tackle stats were a little bit more clear cut. Now it almost seems like they don't mean anything. And we have a huge 3rd and 8 here, by the way. Nick is playing perfect man coverage, but are you kidding me? We get an illegal contact for that? That is actually infuriating on such a big play. And suddenly we are fully on upset alert as Nick guarding the drag route here, and oh man, we're a half step away from the pick 6. This game continues to just be so frustrating. Now the Browns are probably going to stick with the run, and quarterback is taken off here. Nick is going to square him up and sit him down. Let's go. We're going to have another critical 3rd down here, and looks like curl routes. We're just going to play this one safe, and the Browns are going to have to kick it. So it's going to be up to offense. We need a touchdown from them, man. They've only got 3 points this whole game, and we get it. What can I say? Still a lot of work to do, though. Got to make sure the Browns don't get into field goal range. Hoping to just sit and man up 3 deep here, but they find the middle, and they've still got 1 timeout left. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive here. Going to go with the covered 3, and oh my god, they slice us up the seam, but Nick forces the fumble, and that's going to do it for the game. Wow. I'm kind of surprised they ruled that a catch, but we'll take it. Nick's 2nd forced fumble in 2 games, and this time we pick it up. Not the huge stats game that I wanted, but anytime you end a game like that, it's satisfying. And after the dub, we are thankfully still holding on to the number 1 seed. Taking on the Cardinals next, who are actually 89 overall. We're going to be going against Marvin Harrison Jr. today, and his first act in this game is going to be dropping an easy 3rd down catch. So we remain tied up at 0-0 as Nick tricks his blocker and is able to get out a big hit on the running back. So Arizona takes a 3-0 lead. Offense is laying dormant right now. I think we're going to have our work cut out for us, and Nick guarding Marvin Harrison Jr. here is going to bait up the streak and had the pick in his hands, but you saw Harrison get his hands in there. Nick really hasn't had a receiver give him a ton of problems in his career, and this is curls. We're going to bait it up, and Nick gets the pick. That is the most satisfying type of interception to get, dude. I love picking off curls. Brings me back to my days on NCAA 14. Huge red zone play. But we still head into the second half scoreless. The Cardinals already have good field position, and trying Nick here. He's all over that post route, but our safety swats it away. We are going to end up getting a 3rd down stop. We need offense to come through. The offense doesn't get anything. In fact, they turn it over, and the Cardinals are going to turn that into a touchdown. We're on upset alert again. And there was just nothing we could do. Nick with the 1 interception at the end of the half really didn't get another chance apart from that. Right now, it just doesn't seem like this is shaping out to be that 40 pick season. We would need something really exceptional to happen in the last 3 games. And Nick continues to fall on this MVP watch. And this game against 6-8 Detroit could potentially be tough. Looks like they're going to be running the ball heavy, and Nick finds a way to turn that into a big hit. This really doesn't feel like a game where we can put up crazy interception numbers, but right when I say that, they throw it right to Nick. He hasn't been doing a good job of coming up with those contested catches. We got a 3-point lead going into the second quarter, and Nick is once again going to lay down a huge hit. He just takes angles specifically designed to lay out punishment to any ball carrier he comes in contact with. But the Detroit offense has been kind of tough, and they are going to get into the end zone. Still no opportunities have really presented themselves for picks. We've got to find a way to make some other impact. Nick's trying to force a fumble. The Lions have just done a genuinely really good job of switching up their offense. They're throwing it all over the field. I don't really know where to go. And Nick has like the same amount of tackles he's had this entire season up to this point. And the Lions are once again going to get into the end zone. All of a sudden, our defense is just helpless against these guys. Our hopes of a #1 playoff seed are slipping away, along with Nick's hopes of getting to 40 interceptions. We'll have a 3rd and 11. Let's see if the Lions decide to pass it for some reason. Nope, they're just going to run it right up the middle. We're going to take another timeout, but the hopes are looking slim. Need some kind of blocked field goal or something. And we are in fact going to take the loss in a 0-pick game for Nick. He tried to do everything that he could, but it was not enough. Okay, maybe I lied though. We're still sitting at the #1 seed. Hopefully we can make something happen against the Bucks, who are actually a 90 overall, and Nick is going to start this out with a pick, his 28th on the season. We're going to try to take this back the other way, but this doesn't usually work because someone always comes out of nowhere and gets us, no matter how clear the path looks. But once again, we're just having one of these games where offense doesn't do anything. This is bad timing by them. They were finally able to get a field goal, but we're already headed into the fourth quarter. No opportunities at pick sixes have presented themselves. I'm starting to lose hope on this one, but here we go. With just under 4 minutes left, they're going to go with this out route, and Nick is going to get the pick. Come on, man. Can we bank this? We're getting chased down from behind, and man, we can't even get out to the 30. But still a gigantic play. Hopefully offense can do something with this. Nope, nothing at all. We're back in this same position where we're struggling from behind, trying to give offense one last shot at something. Hopefully we can find a way to make it happen. We're going to get the Bucks to 3rd down. Maybe they'll pass it or something. It does kind of look like it could be a passing formation. Let's see. Yep, they are in fact going to throw it. We got to bait up. Oh no, they just went with a screen, and they're going to pick it up. Brutal stuff. Nick's going to try to get in for a big hit, but that'll probably do it. So another difficult loss. Nick actually had a really good game in this one. Not enough to get us to 40 picks, but we'll see where the MVP watch stands. Nope, we've actually dropped to #6 in the MVP voting. Like, what? This is starting to get brutally frustrating. With one game left, we're one short of 30 interceptions. We got to get to 30. Come on now. If Nick can't get a pick today, it might be a sign that his career is in decline and he'll never meet his goals. I want to win and all, but we got to go out and put up some stats today. Maybe we could still sneak into the MVP if we have a big game, and Nick is starting it off right, getting his 30th pick of the season, which is obviously like still a beautiful season. Still never been done before Nick, but for him, that's just the baseline at this point. And it looks like we are probably going to get the dub in this one. We got a solid lead. Offense is actually doing their thing, and once again, we're going to bait up the deep ball. Dude, I feel like all of our picks this last half of the season have basically been on this deep ball. Offenses have just been running like not that much stuff that we can pick off, but Nick is going to find a way to turn this into a pick six anyways, outrunning the big guys and leaping into the end zone. We actually do have a chance for a huge game here, and manned up in the slot, we're going to see that fade ball. I am always expecting that when we're manned up against the slot, and it'll be a third of the half for Nick. We haven't had a game like this in a minute, and just like that, we're at 32 on the season, a perfectly respectable amount of interceptions. We're matched up against Marvin Harrison Jr. No fear with an 18-point lead though. Let's just bait it up again, get a 4th on the day. Give me that. Nick has not typically played with a style in the NFL of just baiting up these deep balls 100% of the time, but that's what's working right now. That's what we're going to rock with. Hopefully Arizona will just keep chucking it up. They're actually going to run it up the middle here, and Nick able to come down with a big hit. For some reason, the Cardinals are just running the ball heavy here. I'm hunting for a 3rd forced fumble on the season at this point. They got the ball in the red zone for the first time, and we're going to drop into the cover 3 and once again bait that up. That's going to the corner, but Nick is somehow able to get his feet in bounds. I thought for sure he was going to be out, and we're having one of our best days in the year in the final game of the season. And that's going to do it for this one. A big time game for Nick. That honestly could win him the MVP. We'll see. It's going to be close. And with that win, we actually did lock up the #1 seed in the playoffs. Nick finishes the season with 34 interceptions. I believe that's the same number as last year. He did have 2 forced fumbles and 8 touchdowns. And he is once again 2nd on the MVP watch. I don't know if this changes like after the playoffs. I don't think it has in the past, but we'll see. The divisional round of the playoffs looks like we're taking on the 7 seed Falcons, who upset the Eagles. I feel like we need to go get Nick another ring to truly cement his place as the greatest of all time. And this is a pretty good way to start it out. Offense already cashed in a touchdown, and Nick gets his first pick in the second quarter. We've been baiting up those streak routes to perfection. I kind of feel like Nick's about to have a monster playoff game, and we're out in the cover 3 here, seeing a weird little fade route, and give me that second of the day already. I don't know what Penix is doing, but that's going to put offense in a position to potentially take a 3-score lead. They're only able to get a field goal, but 13-0 is still a solid spot to be, and oh man, where was this at in the second part of the regular season? Suddenly the floodgates have opened for the picks, and it just makes me sad that for some reason playoff stats don't go towards season stats. I don't know why that's the case. So it's 16-0 headed into the third quarter. Falcons haven't been able to do anything on offense, and Nick actually kind of got fooled in the cover 3 there, but lays down the wide receiver and forces a fumble. Let's go. We've been coming through with more big hits lately. I think that's Nick's 3rd on the season, maybe even his 4th, and that is just demoralizing for Atlanta. The game's not necessarily over headed into the 4th quarter, but the way this defense is playing, I just don't see the Falcons making a comeback. They've been moving the ball kind of slow as well, and Penix rolling out of the pocket is actually going to try Nick here, but that ball is just way off target. And it looks like we'll have 4th and 8 for the game. Let's see what we got. Looks like just deep balls, and our middle linebacker is going to pick it off to seal it. What a dominating performance. And that'll do it for this one. A 4-turnover game for Nick. We shut out the Falcons. And the Super Bowl odds at this point are looking pretty good. And we are going to have the Panthers in the NFC Championship game. Look at the Ravens on the other side, man. I don't know exactly what to expect from the Panthers, but sitting in the cover 2 here, Bryce Young is going to try to scramble, and Nick is all over that, getting the sack. Okay. Anytime you can get a sack as a cornerback, it's satisfying, but little motion from the Panthers here, and oh no, we don't have anybody who can guard that. Witherspoon got totally turned around, and that's an easy touchdown. Thankfully, offense is on their stuff today, though, I guess. But the Panthers' passing attack has been tough to stop so far, and my god, we got bailed out there. Nick totally went off of his man, expecting him to run a slant. I feel like I normally don't get bailed out like that at cornerback, but it's looking like this drive could end in a touchdown anyways. Let's see if we can get a cover 2 pick here. No, they're just going to run it up the middle, and we can't get in there, but we stop them just short of the goal line. Let's see if we can get a lucky stop here. They're going to run it up the middle, and Nick sits down the running back. Let's see if they go for this. Looks like our boy's coming off the field at least. So we hold him to a field goal. Offense not able to answer, unfortunately. I'm guessing we're going to get an interception chance before halftime here, and yep, they're going to go with the deep ball, and we've been baiting that up perfectly lately. Nick's speed at this point is so good that we can play so far behind those routes and still catch up to them, and hopefully at the 50 with 3 timeouts, offense can get some points. We got a tie ball game headed into the second half. We're in dangerous territory here, man. We need to play lockup defense, and Nick getting the tackle for loss. The good news is, apart from that one play, defense has been pretty decent, and on 3rd down, they're running that same play that got Nick torched last week, but we got a man there to swat that away. And offense gets a huge touchdown. Let's go get a stop. Nick's man's gonna run a curl on 2nd down, so we get beat a little bit, but stop him short. Let's see what we get on 3rd and inches here. Looks like a screen, and oh my god, man, Nick was right on it, but I didn't press the Y button at time. It bounced off his damn helmet. That would have been a potential game-ending pick 6. Now we got 4th and inches, and let's see. Looks like they're just gonna run it, and they do pick it up, of course. We're gonna need to come up with a goal line stop, and we do get him to 3rd and goal. This is a long goal too. So let's see what we can do here. Looks like slants. Interesting play call, and Bryce Young is gonna scramble. Someone's got to tackle him, and once again, dude, Nick with a huge tackle to stop him just short. So we've got a 4th and goal to decide it. It looks like a passing formation. Man in motion. Let's see what we get. There's gonna be a zig route. Bryce Young is scrambling, and Nick gets his 2nd sack of the game. Sit down, and we're gonna get the dub in the NFC Championship game. A clutch moment for Nick, and he is once again headed to the Super Bowl where he belongs. Was a quiet game overall, but Nick played really well and came through when it counted. And actually, what could be more perfect? We're going to be taking on Nick's old team, the Ravens, in the Super Bowl. Nick is going to be taking on a veteran Lamar Jackson, and offense once again starting it out with a touchdown. I have a feeling that Nick's going to be playing with his hair on fire today, and on an early 3rd down, Lamar Jackson's going to throw a pick. I don't know what he was doing, but clearly he did not want to go Nick's way. We'll take it. Nick hasn't done anything yet, and we got a 2-score lead already. This might just be the year for the Seahawks, but in the cover 2, Lamar is going to slice us up. He bounced back pretty quick, and man, that dude has a fat face for a wide receiver. And offense turned the ball over, not ideal, and quickly the Ravens are going to take advantage. Lamar finds Zay Flowers on the back of the end zone. zone. Things could get scary here in the second half. Nick has got to make a play soon. It's sitting underneath the out route. He baits it up perfectly for the pick. There we go. I knew Lamar was going to test him eventually, and in an instant we reclaim the lead. One more big play from Nick could do it, and on third and super long, this could be it. We bait up the streak beautifully, and Nick will get his second of the day, potentially snatching the Super Bowl MVP and snatching the life out of the Ravens season. But we still need offense to do a little bit of work here, and they do. Things are coming together right now. It's not over yet though, and we're in man coverage here. I'm expecting a slant, and oh man, that route got me, and the safety's not home. That is gonna be a brutal touchdown given up by Nick. But really though, what was our safety doing? He's got one job and he did not do it. Looks like Lamar Jackson's gonna take off, and Nick has a clear shot at him. Sit the hell down, Lamar. That looked familiar right there. An 8-point lead didn't feel too bad, and offense adds to it. That could potentially do it. Despite the mistake from Nick, we got 35 points. Offense like really came through in this one. I'm hoping to make up for giving up a touchdown. This could be it, but oh, the angle is just a little bit wrong on the corner route, and we're gonna have a 4th down for the game. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not out hunting one more pick, and Lamar goes to the other side. Another pick for Forbes Jr. He's got 2 on the day, and offense should be able to just take a knee. So that'll do it. Nick gets another Super Bowl ring. Let's see if he also gets another Super Bowl MVP. That should be his 3rd ring, I believe. And oh man, they give it to Kenneth Walker. What were bro's stats? 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. Come on now. I know Nick gave up the touchdown, but at least give it to that other cornerback. And in the end, Nick finished once again number 2 on the MVP watch, falling just short of his goal. But there's always next season, boys. I'll see you then. Drop a like and a comment, and have a good one. Peace.